Welcome and Merry Christmas. I'm Michael.
I'm Alicia.
And we are the Gons. Today we are checking out another YouTube video.
Yes,
Thought it'd be fun. Christmas time coming up. Found this video. Thought it looked interesting. So today we are going to look at what Christmas dinner around the world looks like. Let's get into it.
Christmas is that time of year when we relax with the family, forget about our waistlines, and feast to our heart's content. But with more than 2 billion people in over 160 countries celebrating Christmas each year, the good old American staple of roast beef, turkey, mashed potatoes, and eggnog is far from the norm. From fried chicken to stuffed seal, here's a look at many different dishes eaten around the world for the festive season. The UK. While turkey is often reserved for Thanksgiving in America, over in the UK it's the main course at Christmas. Although some households might prefer goose or chicken. Whatever the choice of bird, it's traditionally served with roast chestnuts, parsnips, potatoes, Brussels sprouts, tiny sausages wrapped in bacon, cranberry sauce, and a splash of hot gravy. For dessert, a heavy mass of fruitcake is doused in flaming brandy and served as Christmas pudding. Once everyone's had their fill, it's time to pull Christmas crackers, which usually contain a paper party hat and a really bad dad joke printed on a slip of paper. Here's an example. What's the best Christmas present you can buy? A broken drum. You can't beat it, eh? Can't beat it, you know? Like a drum?
I appreciate
Greenland.
a good dad.
Greenlanders celebrate Christmas Arctic style by serving specially prepared dishes like Mattak and Kiviak, traditional Inuit delicacies that make the most
That was a dead bird on
prepared
a plate.
dishes like Mattak and Kiviak, traditional.
That in no way looks appetizing to me.
No.
I'm assuming, and they might get into that, that cannot be how it's prepared.
Please no.
But that does show it sitting on a plate right now, though.
That's a dead bird on a plate. I mean, I get that, like, a turkey's a dead bird on a plate. Like,
right.
I get that, but it doesn't look like a dead bird on a plate.
No.
It looks like a golden, delicious turkey.
That looks like they just found something out from the street and threw it on a plate.
Yeah, that's...
And I don't know what Mattak is. It sounds familiar. Obviously, it looks like a fish of some sort, but I'm curious how it's prepared, if there's anything special about it.
This is interesting.
Inuit delicacies that make the most adventurous of foodies' stomachs turn. Mattak is the skin of a whale, usually the bowhead, beluga, or narwhal,
So
diced
skin
or
and fat,
serrated
then, I'm
and
assuming?
served raw. Kiviak is a dish of fermented birds with a rather unusual method of preparation. To make kiviak, a seal skin
That's
is
a seal,
first
isn't it?
hollowed, then stuffed with some 400 to 500 seabirds called auks. The auks are stuffed into the seal's body, complete with feathers and all, which are then sewn and sealed up with grease to allow for 7 months of fermentation. Come Christmas, the birds are taken out and served straight up from the seal's gut. This is definitely not a feast for the faint-hearted. Zimbabwe.
I'd try
The
it.
typical
I feel so sick right now.
It definitely doesn't look appetizing. It probably tastes atrocious, but I'd give it a try.
Oh, no.
It's amazing how many countries rely on fermentation for their foods. I know, a lot of the Nordic countries.
Yeah. That looked absolutely horrible. And my stomach genuinely is turning right now. Like that one got me. No.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe Christmas dinner can include fresh roasted ox or goat, cornmeal porridge, bread, jam, and tea. But the special treat reserved for the occasion is chicken served with rice. Since chicken is an expensive food item in the landlocked African nation, beats fermented seabirds, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Japan.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
So I feel like chicken is basically everywhere and easy to get to and have. And
people have chickens in their backyards.
right. Interesting.
A lot of people I know have chickens in their backyards. Just like
in a nation where most people
common.
are Shinto or Buddhist, Christmas in Japan is more of a commercial affair and definitely not a national holiday. Much like Valentine's Day, Christmas in Japan is a time for young couples to exchange gifts and have romantic dinners. While many restaurants are packed with reservations made weeks in advance, none are busier on December 25th than KFC. That's because some 3.6 million Japanese families dine on buckets of fried chicken as a Christmas tradition. This tradition began in 1974, thanks to a clever advertising campaign called Kirisumasu Niwa Kentucky, meaning Kentucky for Christmas. Ever since then, the
So
Colonel's
clever.
fried chicken has become the go-to Christmas meal, with the franchise's
Hey,
outlets
I'm
getting
here for
orders
it.
weeks in advance during the holiday season.
Especially after what
Of
they
course,
have in
Japanese
Greenland.
Christmas wouldn't be
Yeah.
complete without cake for dessert. Unlike American fruitcakes, Japanese Christmas cake is usually sponge decorated with whipped cream and strawberries.
That looks
In
delicious.
fact, the
Fruitcake
shortcake
any day.
emoji
Yeah.
in our phones is based off the Japanese
Oh,
Christmas cake.
Interesting.
Finland. The Finnish Christmas dinner is a feast consisting of dishes with names that will twist your tongue, but fill your taste buds with delight. The holy trinity of Finnish Christmas foods are the kinkku, an oven-baked ham,
Nice.
Lanttulaatikko, a kind of turnip casserole,
I'm
and
here for
Rosolli, a colorful mixed beetroot salad that looks like gemstones
That
on a
looks
plate. Depending
so
on
I'm
the
not a
size
huge
of
fan
the
of
dinner
beef.
party, these are
I
usually
like
served with a
these.
variety of fish dishes, mainly smoked salmon and herring.
Oh.
After the main
This all sounds delicious.
I love smoked salmon so much.
How can Finland get it so right?
Right?
And Greenland.
Yeah.
No offense, but no.
course, the night is made sweeter with piparkaku, gingerbread cookies spiced with cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, and yallartartu, tarts filled with plum jam made
Yeah,
in the
I
shape
mean,
of a star
yeah,
and dusted with
everything.
powdered sugar. Desserts are enjoyed with a warm glass of
Go to
gluggy,
Finland for
mulled
Christmas.
wine,
Yeah, right?
traditionally drunk by travelers to brace the cold Scandinavian weather. Poland. Christmas Eve in Poland is a whole day of fasting leading up to Vigilia,
Oh.
the feast which starts when the first star appears in the night sky. Traditionally,
Oh,
Vigilia is a
interesting.
huge meal that features a 12-course dinner, with each course representing the 12 apostles and the
pierogies.
12 months of the year. But some families opt for 5, 7, or 9 dishes to symbolize good luck. Regardless of what's being served, expect dinner to last for at least a few hours. The feasting kicks off with a Christmas wafer that symbolizes Jesus Christ. There's no red meat served at a Polish Christmas dinner, and main courses consist of carp and herring dishes. The evening would not be complete without Borsch, a beetroot soup served with uska, a type of ravioli made for the
again.
occasion. This is followed by a dessert made of noodles with poppy seeds. I'm sure it's better than it sounds. Portugal.
looks.
The Portuguese Christmas Eve dinner is called Consoada, from the Latin word consolare, meaning to comfort. This refers to the small meal taken at the end of a day of fasting on the night of December 24th. And it certainly
Lots of
sounds
countries
comforting, as
fasting.
long as you like
Yeah,
seafood,
that's
that is.
interesting.
The consoado consists of all kinds of goodness from the sea and earth, starting with the famous Bacalhau, or dried salted codfish, for the appetizer, with boiled
I tried that.
potatoes,
Love cod.
eggs, onions, chickpeas, cabbage, and other greens with a dry
Okay, I gotta say, it does all look very bland, though.
Yeah,
Just boiled potatoes, cabbage,
it's fairly monotone, which I mean,
hard-boiled eggs.
yeah, which I say it looks fairly monotone, but then when you consider turkey, mashed potatoes,
Right.
a roll, dressing, like not to say ours is like
Yes.
bright and colorful, but
No, we usually put that. I mean, you got gravy on your mashed potatoes.
yeah, then we
You
do have
got cranberry
cranberries.
to
Yeah,
put on your turkey.
we do have some
dressing made
color
of
there,
chopped
but-
onion, garlic, and parsley. This dish is also accompanied with lots of olive oil. Lots and lots of olive oil. Like really, a lot of olive oil. The traditional centerpiece of an old-fashioned Portuguese Christmas is the Polvo a Lagereiro, or grilled octopus. Think of it as kind of a sea turkey with 8
I
legs
like
and a giant
octopus.
head. This
If it's
8-legged
prepared
sea
well.
turkey is accompanied by batata samuro, which translates into punched potatoes. This is basically just oven roasted potatoes with garlic and
Yeah.
parsley, and of course,
I mean,
olive oil. Did
I
I
grew
mention
up on
the
a potato
olive oil?
farm. Potatoes
Egypt.
are always a hit
An
for me.
Egyptian Christmas is a vegan affair that lasts for the 43 days before Christmas, from the 25th of November all the way
My
into the
birthday.
6th of January. For these 43 days of Advent, Coptic Orthodox
Vegan only,
Christians will follow the Holy Nativity fast, where animal products of all kinds are prohibited in their meals. When
Interesting.
January 6th, Coptic Christmas Eve rolls around, families attend a special church service that starts late in the evening and finishes after midnight, where they all tuck into a huge Christmas meal of meat, eggs, butter, and all the things forbidden during Advent fast.
Nice.
A popular Egyptian Christmas dish is Fatta, a
like a
soup
stew.
containing boiled lamb with bread,
looks
rice, and
so
garlic.
Yeah.
Sweden,
good.
like many parts of Europe, Sweden celebrates Christmas in grand fashion with a festive spread on the 24th of December, a smorgasbord. A Swedish-style buffet consisting of lots of hot and cold dishes is prepared for the occasion, with all the classics you'd
That
expect.
looks
Sorry,
fantastic.
all the
Yes.
classics Swedish people would expect. Among them is the typical Christmas ham, pork, sausages, an egg,
Nice,
and
nice,
anchovy
nice.
mixture. Homemade liver pate, wort-flavored rye bread called Vörtbröd, and something called
rye bread.
Jansson's Temptation, a creamy potato casserole with anchovies, allegedly named after a food-loving Swedish opera singer from the early
Big on the anchovies,
1900s.
apparently.
But the
Yeah, he was
centerpiece
less
is a
anchovies.
lye-soaked fish dish known as Lutefisk.
Yep.
Lye is a
Lutefisk.
highly alkaline chemical that is often used to clean drains.
Yep. So,
we lived in North Dakota for a while,
yep.
and they had a lot of
Norwegian influence,
yeah, Norwegian and just Scandinavian
Yeah.
festivals
Sons
and
of Norway and all that.
yeah, and lutefisk was definitely
It's everywhere there.
one of the popular things that would be served.
Very
and
easy to find.
I have managed thus far in my life to avoid it and steer clear. Also, like churches would advertise that they were having like lutefisk, like fundraiser dinners, and I'm like, are you making a lot of money on those? Just curious.
I think it probably draws people in for the curiosity and like the challenge of trying it.
And they also balanced it out by having lefse also.
Right.
So like lefse and lutefisk was like a big like thing.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know if I'd advertise that we're serving lutefisk.
It's so popular there though.
Yeah.
In the area of North Dakota where we were. Super popular.
It's super popular there, especially with like the older generations.
Yeah.
But no, thank you. I don't even want to smell it.
Like the big Scandinavian festival every year that they have. They have booths set up selling lutefisk and lefse.
Yep. And the Norwegian ring cakes. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. The almond.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called either. Those were good.
Those were good.
But when applied correctly by a master Swedish lutefisk chef, it turns the fish meat into a kind of translucent jelly. Delicious.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Mexico. In Mexico, Christmas dinners are all about the tamales.
Yes.
They're made
Yes.
with beans
Yes.
and chicken, meat and
One of
veggies,
the
cheese
greatest
and
foods in the
chilies,
world.
or just about any combination you could think of. This Mesoamerican dish dates back to 8000 BC and has made its way into the Christmas
didn't know
tradition
that.
of a few American states,
Amazing.
particularly in the Southwest. Switzerland. The Swiss honor the birth of Christ with a simple hot pot dinner for the whole family, where everybody sits
Little
around the
fondue,
dinner
huh?
table to dip pieces of meat on long
Nice.
forks into a boiling soup. The
Yes,
cooked
I
meats are
love
then enjoyed
fondue.
with French
We used to
fries
do
and
that
a
every
variety
year
of
for,
sauces. Oh, and
Valentine's
cheese.
Day.
Lots of cheese.
We haven't for the last
This
like
is
year or two,
Switzerland,
but
remember?
that was our
Russia.
Valentine's Day
Like the
tradition.
Egyptians, Russians celebrate Orthodox Christmas on January 7th, with lots of meat and
Interesting.
fish to celebrate the end of their Advent fasting. Some of their favorite traditional dishes are stuffed roast goose, pork tenderloin with apples, and cabbage in a pie with fish, rice, and hard-boiled eggs inside. Of course, the
Oh, man,
must-have
cabbage
dish on the
pie.
dinner table for the Russian
sounds
holiday
good.
is Holodets, a cold meat jelly made out of chicken or beef stock with meat and vegetables. The more traditional recipe for
So I'm wondering, like when I see meat with gelatin like that, all I can think is that like coagulated fat?
That's what it draws to mind for me, and I'm like that again. That's
Because I've seen multiple
So-
dishes that are, like meat with a gelatin of some sort, and all I
Yeah.
can think of is coagulated fat, and I don't know if that's actually what it would taste or feel like to eat, but that's all I can imagine.
so bad.
But I'm also a very adventurous eater, so
He
I would
is.
try every single one of these things at least once.
He would. Genuinely, he
Holodets
would.
contains the feet of pigs, cows, or chickens. Holodets is very time consuming to prepare, and when it just looks like cold jelly with bits of meat in it, one wonders if it's worth it. Italy. Traditionally,
Ew.
La
Gotta be
Viglia,
good
the
food at
traditional
Italy.
Italian
Yeah,
Christmas
I'm
Eve
in
dinner,
already.
was intended to purify the body for the religious holiday with healthy cuisines. So usually meals consist of seafood and vegetables,
Yep.
but no meat. Depending on the region, dishes that appear on the table
I love the seafood, but no meat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always think that's a weird thing, that seafood is not meat.
Yeah. I've always found that to be very interesting also.
I'm curious what the classification of meat is versus
Yeah.
seafood.
I'm also curious because I have never actually looked into it. Like, where did that come from? Like, what is the tradition that comes out of? Like, that
I
would
don't know.
be interesting to know, like, the origin story,
Right.
so to speak.
I wonder if it is biblical of like fasting, like a no meat fast or something like that.
Right.
Having to do with maybe Lent or something.
Yeah. Because I know, like,
I guess Lent. Yeah. But
yeah, because I know, like, growing up, Catholic friends that I had would have, like, no meat on certain days, but they
Exactly.
could still eat fish.
like Friday or something, isn't it? Like no meat on
yeah,
Friday,
no
but
meat
you can
on
still
Friday.
eat
but-
fish.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering, if it's like,
Right. So, like,
is it just a loophole that they created or
I'm assuming that it's something to do with the Catholic faith.
right?
but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, me either.
I would love to learn. I
Yeah.
love learning new things like this. So if you know, I would love for you to drop down in the comments, like, where does this tradition come from? What is
meat
the
versus
story
fish?
behind
Yeah.
it? Yeah. How do they decide that fish is not meat?
Right. Because I've known
to me,
people that
it's
were
the
like
same
vegetarians, but they still eat fish and seafood.
Yeah.
I always thought that was weird.
How and why?
Yeah.
If you have insight, please fill us in.
Yeah.
Table at La Viglia can be made of fish, octopus, eel, and shellfish. These are, of course, accompanied by huge heaps of pasta prepared with even more seafood. Now, this might sound healthier than an American Christmas, but when you're stuffing your face with as much as the Italians do, this might be a harder claim to back up. Australia.
Yeah,
The
but fresh-made
typical
pasta is
Australian
actually
Christmas shares a
fairly
lot with
healthy.
European and American traditions.
sounds
But since
so
the
good
land
right
down
now.
under celebrates the holiday
Australia,
season
I had
during
no
their
idea.
summer, the festive menu had to be given a unique Aussie spin. In both Australia and New Zealand, Christmas dinner revolves around anything that can be thrown onto a barbecue, from meat and seafood to, well, more meat. And then
I mean,
there's
it's
beef.
summer
thrown on
there.
More meat
grill.
after that. With the summer heat at its peak, most Aussie holiday desserts are designed to cool you down in temperatures that reach around 85 degrees. A whole watermelon usually does the trick. South Africa.
It's so
Fancy
funny to
some-
see, like, American 4th of July
Yeah.
food be Australian Christmas food. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because
Yeah.
4th of July is that, that's when we would eat
our
that type
summer-
of food, and
Yep.
that's our summer holiday.
Yeah.
So for them, Christmas is a summer holiday. Like, it makes sense. It's
It
just
does.
interesting to see, like, our 4th of July is their
Yeah.
Christmas
Interesting.
meal wise.
It's whatever you can easily throw on the grill. That's
Yep.
definitely standard for 4th of
Something
July.
you can throw on the grill, some sides that,
Whole watermelon.
yep, and
Absolutely.
then a whole watermelon.
Yep.
Something exotic for Christmas? In South Africa, the Mopane caterpillar is an edible caterpillar that feeds predominantly on the Mopane
That
leaf.
picture was
Because
too
their
much.
harvest time coincides with
Yeah.
Christmas, these creepy crawlies grace plenty
Just
of
fry
festive
'em up.
meals in South Africa. But hey, the caterpillars might look unappetizing, but they're fried to a perfection with garlic, peanuts, onions, and tomato, and served with gravy. That actually sounds kind of good.
Okay, you know, the funny thing, I would be way more likely to try the caterpillars than lutefisk.
Really?
Or like the fermented birds in the seal.
Yeah.
I would be way more likely to try a fried caterpillar
Yeah.
than the fermented, nasty, rotten.
It's not
Other
rotten.
Have you smelled it?
Fermented. Yeah, you're also a bit more of a texture person with your food too.
Yeah.
Because like when we had,
I still don't want to try this, but I was just saying, I'm like, I would eat that before the other.
when we had escargot,
Yeah.
you could not.
I almost lost it.
She had to run to the bathroom.
I did. It was really like, so it was Michael's birthday, and there was this cute little French bakery in Bozeman that we loved to go to. And so we went there on his birthday, and we were getting crepes madame and then also some pastries.
Yep.
And then the son, his name is Ashley, he was like, "Oh, it's your birthday," and he's like, "I'll make you anything you want, any French
Like,
cuisine."
what have you
'cause-
ever wanted to try?
Yeah, that's
French?
French. And we were like, "Oh my gosh, we don't even know." We'd become friends with him and the family, his family that owned it. But so he was like, "I'm gonna make you something, a French delicacy." So he made him
He
escargot.
rattled off the name, whatever it was, and I had no idea what he said. I'm like, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So he made him escargot, which is like it's expensive and
Right.
like it's a super like fine dining thing. And
Brought
it
out this whole
smelled
tray.
so good.
Mm-hmm.
Smelled amazing. And Michael was like, "You have to try one. You have to try one." And so I'm like, "Okay." So I like,
It was so good.
he loved it.
It was incredible.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was. And
I
I don't know how they actually prepare it like normally, but it was in the shell.
yeah.
It was really garlicky and like butter, and then there was green. I don't remember what, a herb of some sort
Yeah.
in there, but oh my gosh, it was incredible.
Yeah. So
Chewy,
I got
but incredible.
right. I got one in my mouth and started. I like tried to take that first like just bite into it. I almost threw up in the middle of the restaurant, and he was like, He looks at me. He's like, "You will not do that here. Go to the bathroom." I was like,
We were like the
"Okay."
only people in the restaurant too, so it would have been very obvious.
Yeah, so I went in the bathroom and tried to very quietly spit it into the toilet. So that didn't sound like I was throwing up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because I was like, this was so sweet of him.
It was.
And then I was just like, "Bleh." But yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how you do with lutefisk.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I would throw up. I would not try it because I know myself.
Right.
Like, I'm not in the mood to throw up on any given day. So
I think at least they probably wouldn't be offended because I've seen so many videos of people trying it and just losing it, and everyone up there just laughs at them. So
yeah,
I think that's kind of just to be expected.
right. But I'm still not going to do it because I don't want to throw up, and I would.
I think what we need to do on the channel, and I think this will be like up to you guys if we end up doing this, is we need to get that the fish in a can, the stinkiest food in the world, and we need to try that on camera so you can just see her lose it.
I will not eat it. I won't. I don't care.
We'll see.
I will not eat it. I'll smell it, and that'll be like, that will probably be enough to set me off. I'm a sympathetic puker, you guys. Like, just like the sight or sound of someone else throwing up, like, that is enough to set me off. Just the smell of it might set me off. Like, no.
Well, if we get enough people asking for it, we'll do it on the channel. We'll see if we can get her to do it, but no matter what, we'll get our daughter involved.
And we'll get him to do it no matter what.
And I'll absolutely try it.
He'll try it.
I may lose it too, but I'll try it.
I'm not eating it. I'm telling you now.
Norway. Many of the Norwegian Christmas traditions come from the Vikings, who celebrated Yule at the same time of the year before Christianity arrived. So what's the main course on a Viking Christmas dinner menu? Lamb, of course. And specifically, its severed head on a platter.
Gosh.
Vikings. The holiday delicacy Smalahove, which literally means sheep head, is a whole head of a sheep with the fleece and skin removed, then salted and dried, then smoked, boiled, steamed, and served with turnips and potatoes. Sometimes the Norwegians leave the brain inside to cook, which is then fried and eaten with a spoon. So,
I'm not here for that one either.
I was expecting Lutefisk again. I wonder if they do, if that was... if they just wanted to do something different, or if they actually don't do Lutefisk.
I don't know. But yeah, so which one surprised you the most?
Surprised me. It's got to be the birds stuffed in a seal.
Yeah, the dead birds in the seal.
And then fermented for 7 months.
Yeah, I mean, that's like...
I would try it, but
talk about meal prep for Christmas.
I would struggle with that one for sure.
Yeah, I would not try it. I know myself. That's not my thing. You eat all the weird, nasty things. I can't do that. But
all right, if you are from any of these countries, how common are these actually?
Yeah.
Are these like it's a tradition, but nobody actually does it?
Yeah.
Or are these things that are still regularly done?
Right.
Is it older generations that do it, but the younger generations are falling out of it? Because I know that's happening with a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're not from one of these countries, what are some crazy Christmas dinner traditions from where you're from?
Right.
Or what is even if it's not crazy, if it's the same as America, anything.
What do you do for Christmas?
Yeah, just curious to know what other people do for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or Christmas time, or are there any other countries that are not celebrating Christmas that have a tradition, like Japan with KFC?
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. It is interesting that like it's just a commercial holiday, just like Valentine's Day. Like that's...
Yeah, really like Valentine's. Let's talk about
right.
Go out for a romantic dinner on Christmas.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us. As always, it means so much to us if you would like this video. Drop those comments down below, as we've been mentioning, and then also subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you can continue joining us on this journey. Yeah, and if you want to get more involved, we have a Patreon launched over there. Link is down in the description. We've got early release on all of our videos. We've got unedited reactions to our longer form videos, movies and TV shows. Mm-hmm. And we've got polls over there that you can tell us that you want us to eat lutefisk on the channel. So you can vote on what we should watch next. Or eat. Watch next. Or eat. All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. See ya.